Amidst a labyrinth of secrets, shadows of the past intertwined with fragile hopes of redemption. Mrs. Tieu, once residing in a home filled with memories, had relinquished her shelter and was now confined to the harsh, modest conditions of a boarding house near a restaurant where she labored for survival. Her life had become an endless struggle, bearing the weight of debts settled only by sacrificing her security and dignity. The whispers of the police, diligently investigating, finally uncovered her location, which sparked a ripple of plans intertwining fate and unresolved mysteries. In the midst of the investigation and maneuvers, the police aimed not only to locate Mrs. Tieu for assistance, connected to a young woman named Tu Kai, but also sought crucial information Mrs. Tieu guarded, details tied to a once prosperous company whose fortunes and misfortunes intertwined in the shadows of a dark history. Comrade Than, tasked with reporting progress, was the link through which this information moved between the officers, the trust placed in these guardians of justice heavy with the burden of untangling complex webs. Tu Kai, a young woman carrying the invisible scars of trauma and mystery, was the focal point of a tangled past. Her condition had brightened from darkness, a flicker of hope restored through time and care. Attempts to bring her face to face with Mrs. Tieu, her adoptive mother, stirred waves of emotion and hesitation. Mrs. Tieu, burdened by the ghosts of past choices and fears, had kept the truth hidden from Tu Kai, that she was adopted, shielded from the brutal realities of the family history Tu Kai's biological parents had touched. Tu Kai's origins were drenched in tragedy. The parents, owners of a once successful company dealing in unfamiliar products, had vanished, victims of murder and disappearance. The shadowy figure orchestrating this darkness was whispered to be a formidable general, a man whose influence spread terror and whose name was uttered with caution. Mrs. Thieu's peril lay in balancing the painful truth and protecting the fragile remnants of a young woman's hope for normalcy. The web of danger grew tighter as men with agendas moved in the background. Henry, a figure bound by contracts and collisions with the criminal underworld, stood as an unlikely ally amidst the chaos. His past was a battleground of conflicts, having been targeted for elimination due to his interference in illicit affairs. Yet, Henry's alliance with Tu Kai became a beacon of defiance against those shadowy forces aiming to erase her existence. Loyalty and betrayal coalesced in the corridors where power was brokered and enemies plotted. The general manager, a man with strict demands and a ruthless grasp on his operatives, pressed hard for results as goods were seized and trust questioned. Within the criminal enterprises, suspicion of insiders and the loyalty of men were tested against the pressure of survival. Orders rang clear. Any threat to the stability of the operation must be extinguished swiftly and without mercy. Beneath the surface of crime and corruption, human desires, fears, hopes, and the yearning for family played out in quiet desperation. Tu Kai's story, filled with pain yet flickering with hope, intersected with the lives around her, drawing allies and enemies alike into a precarious dance of survival and secrets. The complexity of the case extended beyond the immediate threats. Political whispers hinted at a larger scheme, the involvement of powerful figures pulling strings behind curtains. Amidst this, Mrs. Thieu's reluctance to reveal her identity and her connection with Tu Kai revealed the depth of her protective instincts. Fear dominated her decisions, fear of losing Tu Kai to the cruel realities she concealed. Even as plans were made to unite Tu Kai and Mrs. Thieu, the fragile meeting place turned out to be a hollow promise. The address led them not to solace but to uncertainty, an abandoned place void of comfort. Mrs. Thieu's sudden disappearance from their arranged meeting pointed to unease and possible danger lurking nearby. With hearts heavy and confusion rising, the search renewed its urgency to find her and uncover the reasons behind her flight. The tale mirrored the fractured lives of those caught in cycles of loss and renewal. The weight of past mistakes pressed on the present, while the uncertain path ahead glimmered faintly with the possibility of reunion and understanding. Henry and the officers, unwavering in their pursuit of truth and protection, stood by as pillars amidst the storm. Tu Kai's resilience became a testament to human endurance. Her longing for family and safety transcended her harsh realities. The echoes of abandonment and hope intertwined, marking the journey of a young woman struggling to find her place in a world fraught with peril and secrecy. Meanwhile, Mrs. Thieu, torn between her own despair and the need to shield Tu Kai, navigated a delicate balance of fear and love. Her silence was not indifference, but a shield forged from pain and protective instinct. Each step taken was shadowed by the looming presence of those who sought to destroy the fragile threads that connected her to Tu Kai. The cycles of the past haunted the present. The merciless general, the enemies masked by shadows, and the forces threatening the daughter of the successful company shaped a story of loss, survival, and hidden strength. The battle to protect Tu Kai from the dark tide coursed through every interaction, every secret held tightly against the threat of exposure. The search for Mrs. Thieu, a mother separated by circumstance and fear, mirrored the larger quest for justice and peace. Each discovery unfolded layers of complexity, revealing the cost of secrets kept and the price of truth revealed. The boarding house where Mrs. Thieu stayed became a symbol of hardship and unresolved grief, a stark reminder of the tenuous hold on stability. In quiet moments, the characters pondered the fragility of family, the weight of sacrifices made in silence, and the hope that someday, understanding and reconciliation might bridge the distances forged by past tragedies. The emotional undercurrents carried whispers of forgiveness, the possibility of healing, and the enduring power of love despite the scars. Tu Kai, once unnamed and hidden behind layers of trauma and secrecy, emerged as a symbol of endurance and vulnerability. Her identity bore scars of violence and loss, not only externally inflicted, but interned within the labyrinth of her mind and spirit. Adopted and shielded from harsh truths by Mrs. Thieu, Tu Kai wrestled with the duality of what she knew and what was kept secret, embodying the psychological struggle of those caught between the search for belonging and the pain of abandonment. Her condition, improved yet fragile, was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit when nurtured by even the smallest acts of care and hope. Mrs. Thieu's hesitation to reveal the truth to Tu Kai was not merely fear of consequence, but a deep reflection of maternal sacrifice. She chose silence to protect, aware that the truth of Tu Kai's origins could shatter more than just illusions. It could dissolve the foundation of hope itself. This protective silence represented the complex dance between honesty and mercy, where knowledge can wound as much as it can heal. Through Mrs. Thieu's perspective, the narrative examined the paradox of love that binds yet suffocates, extending protection at the cost of freedom. The story expanded beyond the personal into the realm of political and criminal influence, situating these individual lives against a backdrop of corruption and power plays. The formidable general, a shadowy force behind the murder of Tu Ki's family, symbolized the often invisible yet overwhelming presence of destructive power that manipulates fate from the shadows. His influence brought forth themes of justice, vengeance, and the fragility of truth in a world dominated by hidden agendas. Henry, intertwined in this dangerous web as both protector and pawn, illustrated the complexity of loyalty in a world swayed by shifting alliances. Once marked for elimination, Henry's survival became emblematic of resistance against oppression, the struggle to maintain humanity within an environment rife with treachery. His role illuminated a crucial narrative theme: the blurred boundaries between friend and foe, and the personal costs of standing against systemic injustice. The agents of the corrupt underworld, represented by the ruthless general manager and his operatives, painted a grim picture of violence and mistrust. Their relentless pursuit of control, willingness to eliminate threats without hesitation, and the suspicion permeating their ranks exposed the corrosive effect of power unrestrained by morality. This depiction delved into the psychology of those who inhabit the darker spectra of human nature, their motivations fueled by fear, greed, and the desire to dominate. Amidst this darkness, the narrative did not forget the intimate, often unspoken emotional landscapes of the characters. The story explored the interplay of trauma and hope through subtle details: the boarded-up boarding house, the fragile relationship between mother and child, the small gestures of kindness from strangers, all painting a portrait of resilience amidst despair. It demonstrated how human connections, no matter how tentative, hold profound significance in healing and survival. The meeting place between Tu Ki and Mrs. Thieu, initially anticipated as a beacon of reunion, turned into a metaphor for the unpredictability of fate. The abandoned and unsafe location and Mrs. Thieu's subsequent disappearance symbolized the persistent presence of danger and the elusive nature of truth and reconciliation. Such moments confirm that healing and resolution are neither linear nor guaranteed, but a continuous, precarious process shaped by circumstance and choice. The psychological complexity of the characters offered reflections on broader societal themes: how individuals cope with injustice, the burden of secrets kept for protection, and the moral ambiguities encountered when survival demands difficult compromises. Tu Ki's personal journey became a mirror reflecting the universal human quest for identity, belonging, and acceptance within an often hostile world. Similarly, Mrs. Thieu's struggle highlighted the implications of trauma transmitted across generations, how the sins and tragedies of the past echo in the present, shaping relationships and choices. Her fear of losing Tu Ki, whether to external threats or to painful knowledge, underscored the often unacknowledged sacrifices made in the name of love. This aspect of the story positioned motherhood not simply as nurture, but as a battleground of conflicting duties and desires. Henry's narrative thread, woven tightly into this fabric, brought forward an exploration of loyalty tested by hardship. His survival against orchestrated attempts on his life and his alliance with Tu Ki reflected the persistence of hope and the courage required to confront entrenched evil. His character bridged the personal and political, embodying the intersection of friendship, duty, and resistance. The general manager and his criminal network illustrated the dehumanizing effects of power, raising questions about the nature of evil and complicity. Their fear of exposure and ruthless response to threats revealed a worldview governed by survival at all costs, offering a stark contrast to the fragile hopes represented by Tieu and Mrs. Thieu. The shadow of this power loomed large, serving as a reminder of the systemic obstacles to justice and redemption. Throughout the narrative, themes of secrecy and revelation intertwined with motifs of trust and betrayal. The characters' decisions to hide or withhold truths were often acts of self-preservation, yet they carried consequences that rippled through their lives and relationships. This constant tension between concealment and disclosure served as a driving force, shaping the story's emotional and psychological terrain. Ultimately, the story of Tieu, Mrs. Thieu, Henry, and the forces surrounding them was a profound meditation on the human condition. It unraveled the complexities of love and fear, loyalty and betrayal, hope and despair, offering a rich tapestry of emotions and experiences. The narrative invited reflection on how individuals navigate the shadows of their past and present, striving to reclaim agency and forge connections in the face of overwhelming adversity. This part of the journey underscored that while the path toward truth and healing is fraught with obstacles, the enduring human spirit's capacity for resilience and love holds the promise of light, breaking through even the deepest darkness. The intertwined fates of the characters continued to evolve, each step forward a testament to courage, pain, and the relentless pursuit of peace amid turmoil. The final part of the story unfolds with gripping intensity, weaving together threads of fate, unresolved emotions, and the ultimate confrontation between hope and despair. The intricate web of relationships and hidden truths reaches a critical juncture where characters face the full measure of their pasts, choices, and the relentless forces that have shaped their lives. Tieu's journey, fraught with pain and resilience, pushes against the boundaries of her identity and destiny. The shadows cast by the legacy of her birth family, the loss she endured, and the secrecy that enveloped her past are confronted with a growing urgency. Her internal struggle becomes a crucible, forging a stronger sense of self as she grapples with the knowledge that protection comes with the price of silence. The absence of answers weighs heavily, driving her toward a quest not just for safety, but for truth that might heal or devastate. Mrs. Thieu's actions, motivated by a fierce, conflicting blend of love and fear, reveal the complexity of maternal devotion shadowed by trauma. Her disappearance from the arranged meeting symbolizes more than physical absence. It reflects the emotional barriers erected to shield and endure. Her decision to leave without explanation signals a painful recognition of the dangers that still lurk for both her and Tieu, highlighting the sacrifices made when love is entangled with unavoidable peril. Henry's role deepens significantly as he becomes both protector and a symbol of hope amid chaos. His survival against hostile forces and his alliance with Tieu underscore themes of redemption and resistance. The burdens of his past collide with the necessity of courage in protecting a vulnerable soul, illustrating the human capacity for confronting darkness through loyalty and sacrifice. His character evokes the idea that even in the bleakest of circumstances, the bonds forged through trust and resolve can inspire resilience. The antagonistic forces gather momentum, embodied by the unyielding general manager and the ominous general, whose reach influences all around them. Their pursuit of control and eradication of threats intensifies the stakes, pushing the narrative towards a decisive confrontation. Their methods, ruthless, calculated, and violent, serve as a stark counterpoint to the fragile hopes of the protagonists, painting a world where power brutally suppresses innocence and justice. This relentless opposition catalyzes a dramatic climax, forcing choices that will redefine the characters' futures. Amid escalating tension, the boarding house and other settings acquire symbolic weight, representing transient sanctuaries and spaces of vulnerability. The dilapidated structures and hidden meeting places contrast sharply with the emotional landscapes of longing and fear experienced by the characters. These environments reflect the tenuous balance between safety and exposure, offering a backdrop that mirrors the psychological and physical uncertainties faced by those striving to break free from their past constraints. The story evolves into a layered examination of themes such as identity, secrecy, loyalty, and the cost of survival. Tieuca's search for belonging is emblematic of a universal human struggle to reconcile with one's past and to carve out a future amid the ruins of betrayal and loss. The silence kept by Mrs. Tieu, lauded as protective yet burdensome, prompts reflection on how love can simultaneously shield and cage those it intends to save. Henry's unwavering support exemplifies the transformative power of solidarity in dismantling barriers erected by pain and fear. In the climactic moments, revelations begin to surface, fragmented truths, concealed motives, and the unveilings of deeper conspiracies that tie the characters together in unexpected ways. These disclosures challenge long-held beliefs, compelling characters to reassess loyalties and face harsh realities with newfound strength. The narrative builds towards resolution not only through external conflicts, but through profound internal reckonings that reshape relationships and redefine purpose. The final chapter does not offer simplistic resolutions. Instead, it embraces ambiguity, reflecting the complexities of real-life struggles where outcomes are often imperfect and ongoing. The encounters between Tieuca, Mrs. Tieu, and Henry highlight the bittersweet nature of reunion, a mixture of joy, regret, and unresolved tension. Their interactions underscore the enduring impact of past wounds, even as they seek pathways toward healing and reconnection. The story acknowledges that recovery is a continuous journey, marked by hope, tempered with realism. The antagonists' trajectories culminate in confrontations that reveal their vulnerabilities beneath the veneer of power. The narrative exposes how fear, ambition, and desperation govern their actions, ultimately leading to fractures within their ranks. These cracks provide moments of opportunity for the protagonists, illustrating that even the most formidable adversaries possess human frailties. The struggle between light and shadow crystallizes in this dynamic, reinforcing the story's exploration of moral ambiguity and the nuanced nature of conflict. Throughout the conclusion, recurring motifs of water, darkness, and fragmented spaces evoke the emotional currents flowing beneath the surface of the plot. These images enhance the storytelling by symbolizing cleansing, obscurity, and brokenness, themes central to the characters' experiences and transformations. The interplay of these motifs with the narrative progression enriches the text, adding depth and resonance to the unfolding drama. The story closes with a tempered optimism. While not all questions are fully answered and not all wounds entirely healed, the characters find moments of peace and clarity. Tieuca's evolving understanding of her identity, Mrs. Tieu's recognition of her limits and hopes, and Henry's steadfast commitment collectively forge a glimmer of light penetrating the darkness that has long enveloped them. The narrative leaves readers with a profound reflection on the resilience of the human spirit amid adversity, the enduring power of love, and the complex, often imperfect paths toward reconciliation. This intricate conclusion reaffirms that while the past shapes one's journey, it does not confine the future. Through courage, solidarity, and the willingness to face painful truths, the characters inch toward redemption and renewal. The final scenes echo a message that even in the deepest shadows, the possibility of light remains, offering hope for transformation and the rebuilding of shattered lives.